Hello and welcome back to the DayLuna Human Design Podcast with your hosts, Dana and Shayna. Today we have on a special repeat guest, Zoey Greco, who we freaking love. Literally, we vibe with her so much. She feels like a bestie at this point. And this conversation is so fun. We get into like a million different things. And it's just a free-flowing chat. So a little bit about Zoey. Zoey Greco is also known as the Merhipsy. She's an intuitive, empath, and spiritual coach whose work connects individuals to the divine guidance and unconditional love that awaits them in every moment from universal energy. As an intuitive energy healer and practitioner, sound healing guide, and intuitive development mentor, Zoey uses her gifts of clairvoyance, healing, and empowerment to help individuals step into their purpose, gain clarity on their lives, and find fulfillment and abundance in all forms. Okay, I'm so excited to talk to you, Zoey. I literally feel like when you first came into our lives and came into the podcast, this is your second time being on, you just were like this sparkly zip zap rainbow that came in and like, holy shit, who is this person? And then we got to know you and follow you. And I love seeing your stories. I love learning from you. You have like this manifester vibe, even though you're not a manifester, but it's just, you're so impactful and you leave this lasting impression. And I think it's because you're so authentic, like truly authentic, and you just fucking full send everything. And it's so rare to see. Like, not only do you full send, I'm about to shower you with a lot of just like projector seeing you, but like you full send with like events, which we'll talk about, but also like your aesthetic, your style, the things that you're passionate about. Like, you don't do things 50%, you do them 110, 150%. And it's awesome. But then you also, in that same like vein of authenticity, show up on Instagram in your stories, just fully however you are that day. You share whatever is on your heart, whatever's on your mind, whatever you're passionate about, no fucking filters. And it's so refreshing because it's so honest. And I think that people feel like they have to choose one or the other. Like, I'm going to show up professionally, or I'm going to show up like in my PJs, no makeup, like ranting about this thing that pissed me off. And I can't be both. Like, I have to choose. And you really show just so effortlessly like what authenticity looks like and how powerful it can be, and also how fucking cute and like gorgeous and like fun it can be too. So thank you for coming into our lives and showing me just that whole, I don't know, it feels like such a beautiful like, we were just talking about Aries energy, but like fiery, freaking go for it. I'm here, bitches, and take it or leave it. And I choose to take it, like, love it. So thank you.
Okay, first of all, my love language is words of affirmation. And so
you're going to get plenty.
I literally eat compliments for breakfast. So I'm full. Thank you so much. That was delicious. And, you know, it's so interesting because at the time that we had our first conversation, I was deeply, deeply in the chrysalis of becoming. Like, if anyone goes back and listens to that episode or watches that episode especially, I think the visual changes in me and my environment and my life are very obvious and evident. I was very deeply in a process of unbecoming, and I felt very confused. Like, when I look back at myself at that era, I'm like, what is she wearing? What is she? But hanging out with both of you brought out the deepest, truest part of me. Like, it's just, it doesn't always happen in podcasting. It doesn't always happen in our professional, you know, world and work, that you really genuinely connect. It's not just an appointment. It's not just an interview. It's like, oh, there you are. Hey guys, been missing you. Like, we planned this on the other side. And that was really what that experience was. It was so kismet, and your audience really felt it. Like, I don't think I've ever been on another show where people were so, like, I mean this with love, like feral. Like, they came after me and they were like, we heard you on DayLuna, we love you. And I was like, oh, I love this. And it's because you brought that out of me. You gave me a space to feel safe and activated. And that is the power of love. Like, that is what love is, when you truly create a space to experience and feel someone and give them a space to feel safe, they do emerge into it. And that's actually what I've ended up shifting my entire work into. So deciding, I don't know if it was a decision or so much as it was like an inner calling, an unavoidable, inevitable shift, but like eventually allowing myself to unbecome to the point of like revelation. And what I mean by that is like revealing. Like I tore myself apart. I deconditioned so much until all that was left was who I actually am. And I feel like you guys really, really were able to like ding, 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 like crack on, like kind of like knock with like very like a gentle like finger knock, finger tap on my cocoon, and already could see who I was becoming. And it's been something that I look back on frequently and often as like one of the most just like activating is the word I keep having for it, like the most activating experiences. And then I had a reading with Dana, which was so cool. And she was like, girl, 'cause I was a mess. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, okay, well, hold on. Like, let's talk about it. And just all the love you guys have poured into me, whether it was, in the DMs or like in our little group chat occasionally or whatever, like you're always giving me the space to be myself. And so coming here is a privilege, an honor, and a joy. And I'm just so excited to be back.
And I'm excited that you have come out of your cocoon now and are just like showing all the colors and all the wings and all of the parts that just have really landed as and like owning yourself in like such an authentic way. So I'm curious, for people who are listening who don't know, what is that? What is this new or like this landed, if you will, side that has come through that becoming process?
Well, at the time that we connected, I was in the process of rebranding my entire life. My podcast name was changing. My business name was changing. I was shifting out of using a pseudonym. I had been operating under the Merhipsy for like almost a decade. And I was in the process of reclaiming my own name, which at first I was like, oh, I'm just rebranding. Like it's just changing the exterior, just putting a new label on it. No. Au contraire, no, that was not the case. That was just the beginning. But I often say that spirit gives us exactly what we can hold in a moment. And if spirit had said to me like, hey, it's time to turn yourself completely inside out and reveal your true authentic self, I would have been like, probably not. But instead, I was invited into a baby step version of that, where it's like, just change your business name, babe. No big deal. New LLC. And that felt safe. But every step I took sort of begot the next. And it was like almost obvious where I was being called to continue to decondition and unmask and unfurl myself. And it's landed me in this position of not necessarily identifying as a professional intuitive anymore, although like, you can take the girl out of the psychic shop, but you can't take the psychic out of the girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm always going to be an intuitive person. I'm now using my intuition not so much to reveal answers to people or give them, the visions or the solutions that they're looking for, but instead, I'm really using my intuition to help people excavate their authentic self and supporting them in being able to be fully expressed, fully realized, unmasked, and to hold their power, which is such a profound shift because as an intuitive, for a decade, I was letting people hand me their power and let me tell them what to do and who to date and when to get a divorce and when to start a business and I felt density and pressure that entire time. If I'm being so sincere and so honest, I feel like most days I woke up severely anxious because I knew the immensity of what I was holding and what I was carrying, and it felt wrong. I was like, something about this just doesn't feel right. But I knew that helping people was my passion, using my intuition was my calling, and I only really had one like paradigm for how that could look or how that could feel, and it was what people wanted from me. Yeah. And I love to give the people what they want. I was like, oh, you want to just hand me your power and I'll give you all the answers and you just think I'm amazing and smart and brilliant and omnipotent and basically like your phone line to the divine? Absolutely, no problem. And it wasn't until I started to really like hold that power and go, you know what? This belongs to you. Like, you need this. And really hand it back to people that I was like, oh, this is the stuff. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so now I lead a 9-month mentorship container where we actually follow the path of the caterpillar from knowing that something is calling you to change, entering the cocoon, letting yourself dissolve, revealing those imaginal cells that hold the blueprint of the butterfly that are already present in the caterpillar. On a cellular level, the caterpillar is already the butterfly. And then helping people rebuild their lives and their relationships and their work in the vision of their inner truth versus the conditioning that they've been operating through. And it is the most joyful, rewarding, profound, like, I'm truly, truly living my dream. And it all came from letting it all fall apart first.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with everything you just said because I've been thinking about you, knowing that we're going to get to meet, and just thinking about your work and reflecting on the medicine that you give and what we hear all the time. We do readings for people who have done a reading with you or met with you in some container. And so I was just reflecting on your work, and it's really interesting what you said about shifting from being like someone's authority, giving them the answers through your intuition versus empowering them. I had this really amazing, weird experience recently where a family member that I used to be really close with, but I'm not really close with anymore, like we just aren't in communication, she messaged me like, it's an emergency, I need a reading from you. Like, do you do readings? And I was like, well, yeah, I do human design readings. And she's like, well, what's human design? And so I was like, okay, well, this is what human design is, and I can give you a reading, and like we can talk about, you know, how you make decisions and blah, 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 and whatever support you're needing. Like, yeah, I'd be happy to give you a reading. Like, when? And she's like, it's an emergency. I need it right now. And I thought it was an actual emergency because she did have an emergency with another family member, like a physical emergency. So anyways, long story short, we meet and she was like, oh, well, what she really wanted was to meet with a psychic and to have a psychic tell her, this is what you should do in this moment. And I was like, oh, well, that's not how my work works, but I can talk about how your inner authority feels, how you can access your truth. We can talk about strategies for getting unblocked, or, you know, things that you might come up against that you can release so that you feel empowered to actually navigate this for yourself. But I literally can't tell you what to do. I can listen, I can support you, I can be here for you. And it was this revelation for me because Shane and I are not, you know, focused in like giving readings in that intuitive realm. It was this revelation for me. Oh, wow. People really do want desperately in the moment someone else to be their outer authority and to tell them what to do. Yes. But ultimately, it's very disempowering for them. Like, they need guides that are helping them in whatever format and from whatever languaging, come back to their own intuitive power, because that's going to be the thing that ultimately helps them transform and helps them be the person who's steering the ship in their life, who's aligning with their destiny. And if they don't have those tools within themselves and that confidence within themselves, it's never going to happen. But it's just so interesting to observe, you know, because I don't get that a lot, how desperate people can be for that answer from another person, and how there's this heaviness of like, is it a yes or is it a no? Like, just tell me what to do. So it's honestly, it's amazing to hear your experience with that and allowing yourself to make that big shift and seeing how it's been so fulfilling for your clients to receive that support and feel really truly empowered as their own inner authority, as their own intuitive guide in their life. Like, that's a huge shift. And I can imagine the change of that pressure just like in your own body and your own energy. Because, you know, you are a really, when we're looking at your human design chart, empathetic person, open to other people's energy. So I can imagine the heaviness when you were feeling that pressure and it wasn't really coming from people's highest place or space.
Oh, it was really difficult. Like, there were days when I would wake up and I would just say to my husband, like, I can't do this anymore. And it was heartbreaking because reading people's cards and tapping into the ether has been my passion since I was a child. Like, I have oracle decks that I've been using to read for others since I was 7 years old. Like, wow. Still in my possession. Like, I've been doing this my entire life. And so to feel like I was out of resonance or out of alignment with my passion was really confusing for me. Mm-hmm. But I will say, people are not, you used the word desperate several times, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And desperation is a mask of fear. And it makes sense that people, you know, who don't trust themselves, when they're afraid, want to go to someone that they do trust. And I will say that for some of my clients, some more than others perhaps, like that are in the container, all of them were my clients previously. They were people that I just felt like, I think you're ready for whatever comes next. Do you want to go with me? I'm going into something new. I really think you're ready for this. And some people were shocked that I reached out. And some people were like, I've been waiting, take my money. I don't even care what it is. I don't even need to know. I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I will say that for some of them, they still are like, can you give me any guidance? Can you tell me what to do? And I'm like, why do you think you're here? Like, no, babe, this is for you to decide. Like, I'm never going to tell you what to do because I don't know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. As your coach and your spiritual mentor and your intuitive development mentor, I'm here to support you in being able to hear and interpret your own intuitive guidance so that you can know how to take the steps forward, so that you can know what's calling you forward. But I'm not here to receive that for you and then deliver it. And so for the first couple months, it was like, there was almost like some temper tantrums that were like, well, why can't you? You did forever. And it's like, because that's, honestly, that's beginner shit. Letting someone tell you what to do, that's beginner shit. If you really want to grow the fuck up as a spiritual being, if you want to evolve, if you want to like stand in your power, nobody ever tells you what to do. No one ever tells me what to do, ever. Now, do I seek professional wisdom? Every great coach has a coach. I work with a coach. I have a therapist. I have, a team of marketing directors and all sorts of people that I work with. And at the end of the day, I'm still the boss. I'm still the boss of Zoey. And that's the most important job that I have, is being the boss of Zoey. Everything that I do is about living through this being Zoey. Like, reclaiming my own name in my business was huge, because I'm not here to be the merhipsy and, look into a crystal ball and tell you what to do. I'm here to be the boss of me, to do whatever the fuck I fucking want to, and then show you how to do it too. Give you the permission to do whatever you want. And I can't do that if I'm not doing it. So part of it was, people didn't like it when we started. Now they're loving it. But also, like, I had to do it too. I had to be like, oh, I'm in charge of this whole thing. Like, I decide my life. Like, I am my own higher self. Fuck. And that was a lot to take in, is like, oh shit, I'm in charge of my life. And I realized too, like, I always felt like our higher self was some like wiser, distant version of us that like told us what to do. No, babe, our higher self works for us. Like, our higher self, I actually was just journaling this morning, and sometimes when I don't know what to write about, when I'm like, I don't have anything to say, I just let my higher self talk to me. And this morning she was telling me, like, you gave me life. Like, you give me voice. I give my higher self life by existing. My higher self gets to be a human through me. My higher self gets to fall in love and learn and grow and evolve and expand through me. Wow. Yeah. Like, I am her voice in this lifetime, like, I'm who she is right now. And once you really understand that, like, there is nothing more powerful than you, very Aries of me, very generator of me, when you understand that there's nothing more powerful than you, that you are a spark of the creator, and therefore you yourself are a creator, and I am creating Zoey and Zoey's life. Like, you never want to give that away. You never want to give it to anybody else, and you never want to take it from someone else either. When you really truly understand the value of it, you don't want to take it from somebody. And that's what happened to me, is I was like, oh damn, we all need this. Like, we all deserve this, and it feels good.
And
oh my
it's
gosh.
Fun. Like, how you're saying that, of your higher self gets to experience life through you. And like, I always think about our lives as like, if we're in a movie and we're the main character, that our higher selves would never want to watch a boring movie where nothing happens and no risk is taken and there's no heartbreak or no, like, our higher self wants to experience the humanness of taking a risk when you don't know how it's going to land, of sharing your voice honestly when you don't know how people are going going to respond to it. And those things, you know, going back to wanting someone else to be our answer for us, it's like because we have fear of taking the risk. We have fear of putting ourselves out there. We have fear of, if I 100% show up as my own authority and I freaking go for it, what's going to happen? I don't know. But it's like your higher self is watching that movie and eating the popcorn and loving every second of it, because it would never want to watch a boring movie. And you giving it this experience of being able to be, you know, you being the conduit that you get to have these higher self moments channel through you. I feel like it makes life so much more exciting, and it makes the risks that we take feel like a fun, juicy, playful thing instead of like, I think the perfectionism, good girl, people pleaser fear that so many of us have been conditioned to hold on to.
That is, I would say, the primary conditioning that I'm witnessing in people is mostly living for other people, even when they think they're not. And it is so, I myself really enjoyed the process of, and I did this mostly in therapy actually, where like I would dig into myself and I would be shocked at what kind of operating system I was operating through. Like I always thought about it as like my software. Like it was like someone gave me a software update that I didn't even consent to, and I was like, I'm sorry, patriarchy did what to me? Like my sixth grade social studies teacher did what to me? Like
who installed this patriarchy?
Exactly. Who installed these operating systems in me? And once I realized that that is optional. Like it's optional. I don't have to hold any of it. Not a single bit of it. And even yesterday, or maybe the day before, a lot of things come through in my journaling. Also, my microdose is hitting right this second, I'm realizing. So we're just on a ride together.
Let it flow.
Let it rip, baby. You know, I was journaling the other day and I was thinking like, man, I'm not feeling super directed in this moment. Very unusual for an Aries and a generator. I've always got something I'm cooking up. But I was kind of feeling floaty. And then I was like, you know what, babe? That's just fine. Earth's just floating in space and no one's like thinks that's a bad thing. In fact, if she wasn't, we'd be concerned. So maybe it's okay if I'm in a state of floating. Maybe it's okay if I don't take this so seriously. Maybe it's okay to have some fucking fun. And guess what? The more fun you have, the more beautiful your life gets. And I will say too, all the things that I'm discovering in myself were already there. That's why my program's called You Already Are. Because again, on that cellular level, the caterpillar and the butterfly are one and the same. This person that I am in front of you, this is who I was born. Like when you look at my baby pictures, I did that trend where it's like, this is the person that believes in you, you know? My students were all like, holy shit, I know this is my coach. This 7-year-old is my coach. Like this 5-year-old, this 3-year-old is my coach. And it was like, wow, you know what? Yeah, I knew who I was when I got here and life made me forget. And now I remember. And now I'm being the self that I remember. And even in my work, when I started this business, I identified as a spiritual coach. I was actually very resistant to the term psychic. I was like, oh, something about it doesn't feel, it's giving back alley neon sign palm reading. You know, it's like, it's giving, like, I just didn't feel like elevated or like trustworthy to me. And then I healed my relationship to that word and changed my mind about it. And I've changed my mind again. I no longer choose to identify as a psychic. And if I think about it, when I started this work and I started this business, this is exactly what I wanted to do. But I let the conditioning of other people's desperation and desires and the girl boss era get in my way. And I figured out, oh, I'm the most successful when I help people in the way that they want to be helped. And I just wasn't mature enough or resourced enough or experienced enough. I mean, I was like 23, right? When I started my business, I'm about to turn 35. Like I wasn't resourced enough to understand like, oh, you don't have to give people what they want. Like that's just what they want. It doesn't mean that that's what they need or that it's what you are here to give. And once I kind of removed that, everything clicked back into place. And I was like, oh, I no longer feel, I don't know if you guys ever had this, but like, that you wake up and you're like anguished. You're like, you feel like you're looking for something, like something's missing. You're like, it's not, I can't find it. It's not there. I don't know what it is. I can't even see it. I don't feel that anymore at all. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right where I want to be. Like I have nothing to reach for. Anything that happens from here is just the whimsy and the whim of my inner desires. Like I'm not clawing for anything or desperate for anything. I'm just fucking happy. And I'm letting myself be. And I'm letting myself get happier.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It's literally insane. Like, it's insane that it is crazy. Because these like two themes, well, three, but two, I think are what we came, especially in this time, but especially for generators, but for all of the types, to really have to navigate. One, like realizing and taking accountability that you are the boss and that you are your own authority, and that nobody's going to come in and save the day or give you the answers or tell you what to do. Like, you have to do that for yourself. And I think that that's so hard for us because there's the secondhand benefit when you don't do that, that it's not your fault, that it's not your fault that you hate your job because nobody likes it. It's not your fault that you don't have enough money because of these circumstances or because of this upbringing or because of your parents or these people need you. Like, you're giving your power away constantly. And that secondhand benefit is like, I did all I could. Like, it's not my fault. It's not like I get to be the victim and like life just sucks. And that's so hard. And getting to be the victim, the secondhand benefit of that is feeling like you're important, is feeling like this, you're the main character, or the story's about you, or that there's this sense of like wounding attention that makes us feel safe, but also makes us feel important. And so it's hard for us to claim our own sovereignty and like really choose that we are the boss and that we can make those changes and that we can find the answers from within ourselves, because it's just so much easier to be like, this, my spiritual coach or my psychic or this person told me that this is what I had to do, so I did it and I don't have any of the responsibility. And so once you can overcome that, then of course life does become more free, more liberating, more exciting, more fun. And it becomes more like living your life, like you're talking about with your higher self living through you, and like playing the game of life, if life was a simulation or whatever the fuck this is, like actually living it. And while that is scary and it is unknown and you can fuck up and find out, it becomes so much more like juicy, important, flavorful, vivid, right? So that's one journey that I think all of us are here to have to figure out and navigate and learn, like a lesson that we're here to learn. And then the other one of really figuring out what it is that you want versus what other people want, and how conditioned we are to not really know what that is. And in this time specifically, like as we're transitioning into this new paradigm and all of the things that are happening with the information that we're getting from constantly on social media or the news or just in general on podcasts, like we're getting so much information all the time. We're starting to really start to see through like, oh shit, that was programming. Like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. I thought that was my belief, but it's not. Like, I can let that go. I don't have to hold it, like you were saying. And I think that's another thing that we all chose to have to navigate through and choose
And there's
what we want to really
layers.
see.
There are layers. It goes deeper than we
And the
thought.
accountability that's required is really hard for people. I think that's why a lot of people choose to stay asleep or choose to turn down their empathy meter, or choose to turn a blind eye to something that's really painful or heartbreaking or horrible, horrific, is because it's hard to take accountability for yourself to say like, oh, I supported that, I uplifted that, or my belief systems actually are coming from this thing that's not helpful anymore. Like, to be able to take new information and really look at yourself and remove the things that are no longer helpful, I think requires a lot of self-love, but also like a willingness to be wrong and a willingness to like a grittiness. I feel like a lot of us, like millennials in general, are really scrappy because we've had to be. And there's like the really easy option, like I was saying before, like not my fault, like not going to take my, like give my responsibility and power away. But then there's also the people who are like, okay, like this is got this new information. Like, let's get scrappy. Let's make changes. Like, let's own our shit and let's live this life. But I'm curious to ask you, sorry, that was a long rant because so many of the things that you said, I was like,
important.
yes. I'm curious to ask you with this place of like, not feeling like that angst of like, what is it? There's that thing. Cause I can really resonate with feeling like that. And I don't think I feel like that every day. I think that it's definitely been perpetuated through my postpartum journey and navigating this whole upheaval of my life and my hormones and all of the things. This feeling of like, I know that there is this thing on my path or like that is coming or that is like, and it does feel a little bit angsty. And then, of course, I have times where I'm just like, I'm here, I'm present, I'm just in that joy. So for people who feel that angst, like, and from where you're at now, and I know that this is probably something that you coach people in your container of becoming the butterfly. I love that analogy. Like, how do you get to that place? Or like, what's maybe a tip or whatever comes to you of like that place of like, life is literally now just my whimsy that's bringing me that like joy and I just get to be more joyful. Like that whole statement that you said, I'm going to listen back to this podcast and just like take that soundbite because that is an affirmation that I'm claiming now. But yeah, what would you say for that?
Just kidding.
Yeah,
let's put it on a t-shirt. So actually one of the things that you mentioned is exactly in alignment with the way that I would respond to this because we receive all of the information about who we are and what we want from the outside world. And it's really, really noisy. But our intuition is the guidance system that we have to experience resonance. And you both emit such a strong vibrational frequency, which is why your audience is, as I would call them, feral, because, which I experienced from being on the other side of it, is like they're hungry and they love you and they feel that resonance so strongly. And what tends to happen is, we feel that resonance. People listen to DayLuna, they tune in week after week, they're obsessed, but they never let that resonance and that vibration that they, experience from you leak into the rest of their lives. We see people very, very, very often end up hiding in the closet, spiritually, energetically, emotionally. Like they really feel like I had one person in my mentorship container who has not told people yet that she's in this container. And it's like a full-time thing. Like I'm in her pocket 24/7. They have full-time access to me. They can book unlimited, one-on-ones. We have group calls every week. We have guest expert sessions every month. Like it's a full-time thing. And there are people in her life she has not, most people, like only her husband knows that she's doing it.
Wow.
And I really think that, and no shade to her, she's a queen and she's crushing it and she'll tell people when she's ready. But I really find that like the thing that moves us from the angst into the actualization is the willingness to embody it, not to do it in the shadows, not to do it in the closet, not to do it in private, because the angst isn't necessarily about not knowing what the thing is. It's about the sense that we'll never get there. We can't get there. It's too far away. It's out of sight and out of mind. But the truth is, our ability to be ourselves is what allows it to become visible to us. The universe reveals exactly what we are able to hold. And we're just not at the place yet where that vision is being handed to us. There was a time when I had no idea that my work would evolve into what it is now. Nothing I've ever done was really on my radar. Like never knew I was going to have a podcast, never knew I was going to create my own Oracle decks. Never imagined I would live in Arizona. Barf. Even when I got here, I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I never knew that my life was going to be what it is now. And it wasn't until I just let myself live that everything started to come into my world. Like, for instance, the container that I teach is actually modeled after the container of my mentor who came into my life, pitched me through the DMs, was like, hey, I've seen your work. Like, I just want to have a conversation. I feel like I can help you with something. And sure enough, it's true. Like all the best things have actually just come to me when I'm not clawing through space trying to find them. And I think that that's the thing that people are really missing is the permission to be themselves, because when you are yourself out loud, your life automatically reorganizes itself in alignment and in relational attunement to who you actually are. So when I was in the deepest angst, it's because I wasn't being myself and my blessings couldn't find me. And that's not to say, Shayna, that you're not being yourself. It's to say that there's parts of you that are still becoming, that you're still evolving through. And like, you know, even just knowing you guys prior to motherhood, watching you evolve into motherhood, watching you now evolve, Dana, into motherhood, like it's such a beautiful thing. And it is a portal. Like there is no more powerful creative force, I say, as a woman who plans not to have children, because I'm fucking terrified. There's no more powerful portal than to experience your creative power in action, right?
Yeah.
And like we are so afraid of our power. We are so afraid of our creative force that we hide it in a closet and we just listen to our spiritual podcasts on the commute to work where we live our normal 9 to 5 and we don't tell anybody that we're interested in oracle cards or angels or whatever the fuck, that we don't let anyone know we have a crystal in our purse. Like when you can stop living in like the fear and the closet, the whole world is available to you. And guess what? Maybe some people in your life are going to think you're a freak. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for people who don't believe in magic. I feel sorry for people who aren't absolutely fucking delusionally obsessed with the life that they know is like waiting to be lived inside of them. That is the saddest thing in the world to me. So if people are misunderstanding you, or like if you can get through the fact that other people aren't going to understand your choices, you can literally do anything.
Yeah.
But that is the obstruction, is like, I'm afraid to come out of the closet because I don't think people are going to understand me. And if they don't understand me, then this is all invalid. And what am I doing? And I should be doing what other people think I should be doing. And I should keep my crystals, you know, in my purse, or I should get rid of them altogether. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. Be more of a freak. If you're not being a freak, you're not doing it right.
I love that. I know it's so interesting, like what you were saying about the creative portal of birth and giving birth. Like, I think the craziest thing for me right now, and I think I'm just in the becoming phase, like you were just talking about in the beginning, of like, I've never had like such a powerful creation as like creating life right through my body, and like that creative energy literally killing me, like killing me, like
The
my
self
ego
that you were before.
Yes, the self that I was
Yes,
before.
yes.
Exactly. And like having that completely die, and not that like I'm not still myself, or like know who I am and all of that. Like I think that was a messaging that I was told so much of, like, so many women lose themselves in motherhood and all they do is identify as a mother. And I don't feel that. I feel more so like my whole life I've always had this knowing of like, I know what I want. I know where I'm going. I know that I deserve anything that I want to create. And like, I will just go out and get it, like visionary, connect with that vision, make it happen, energy. And for the first time in my life, I'm really feeling like, I don't know what I want. Like, I don't know what my most juicy, delicious life is, because now I'm having to picture it with like the reality of a toddler in it, and like the fact that like I don't get to choose anything that happens in my day or any given moment.
When you shower,
so minutely
when you use
to
the
where
bathroom.
like, am I going to get more than an hour of sleep tonight? Like, that's not my choice. And so I think I'm in this place of like the cocoon where I'm like, oh shit, like this birthed a new me at the same time. And I don't know what she wants and where she's going, but like I've always known that before. And I still know how I'm meant to help people. Like, I still feel very like called to be of service, and the work that I'm doing, that feels crystal clear. Whereas I think maybe that messaging, that conditioned messaging is like, you're just going to want to be a mom. It's like, I've never felt that in my life. And then of course there's still so much conditioning surrounding me and all women in general of like, well, then that means you're not a good mom, or that means that like, you know, you should always want to have been a mom. It's like, that was never a dream of mine. I just knew I was going to be one. So it's just really fascinating, I think, this moment in my life that I think a lot of women can relate to, of not seeing myself in the stories of motherhood that I've always been told, and also not seeing like feeling so incredibly empowered and like powerful to create life, but also like destructive AF to like literally burn my shit to the ground and like be clawing myself out of it to get to that place of knowingness again, and that like juicy, joyful life just gets more joyful. So anyways, that was a whole rant on motherhood and this journey, but it's just so much of what you shared really gave me some insight about how I'm really feeling right now.
Well, I'm happy that it's resonating. And this is interesting because we're about to go have a conversation over on the Higher Self Hotline. And this is actually the conversation I wanted to have with you guys, is talking about like basically the stories and the narratives around motherhood are not going to be the same in a matriarchal society as they are in the patriarchal society in which we live. And so, of course, there's no model for you to look to because it doesn't exist. You're creating it. And obviously, take whatever I say with a grain of salt because I'm not a mother. And in many ways, that feels very karmic to me. Like, my mom and I have had this conversation ourselves. Like, the generational trauma ended with me. And, like, we both, like, we've had this beautiful moment of, like, I think it's done. Like, this is it. It ends with us. And I'm gonna cry. Like we're putting our lineage to bed together, like consciously, like with so much love and so much gratitude. It's such a beautiful thing. And like, you know, she mourned the idea of being a grandmother. I'm an only child to her, so like, you know, it was a whole thing. And it's been a really beautiful conscious decision. So again, take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Like I'm on a different journey, but I do see parallels between motherhood and entrepreneurship. And that is something that I can speak to. And what I can say is my business has always told me what it wants to be, not the other way around. And so your newest creation just so happens to walk, talk, and have its own opinions, even more vividly and apparently overtly than, you know, DayLuna. And it feels like you're like, I don't know what I want because it's your life is going to tell you. Like your creation is going to tell you. Like all you have to do is be present in a way that feels authentic and true to you, and it will let you know what comes next. But we're so, especially those of us who are like, you know, ambitious women, like being an ambitious woman is its own powerful thing in this world. Like being an ambitious man, that's its own thing too. But being an ambitious woman, being a woman who like is so, or someone who identifies as a woman, a female identifying human being, someone who knows that there is a calling, that there's a spotlight that you are walking toward to stand under, like it is a very profound experience. And I think that there is a time in our lives where we come to understand like, oh, having this pre-planned actually is not of the greatest service to me. Letting the plan unveil itself to me in real time is the greatest thing that can happen. And what I'm hearing, if I may be so bold, just as your friend, as someone that loves you, I'm hearing that like you're being called to surrender and you're not wanting to do it. You're like, I don't want to surrender. Like I want to be in charge. And it's like truly, truly, truly in my own process of like, because I did something similar. Like I fully killed the version of myself that I was. And when it was happening to me, I was having all these visions of my death constantly. And I went to my therapist and was like, I think I'm going to die. Like, I'm like, what is this? And she was like, honey, you are dying. But guess what? Not in the way that you think. This is your ego death. Like the identity that I've built, the self that I created to live in this world and feel safe within, that was actually confining me. That's the part of me that died. And that is another version, right, of like what you're experiencing. Like I birthed myself. Like I was like, oh, that like who I've been isn't Zoey. Like I have to kill that person so that the real Zoey can emerge. And I'm sure that the same is true for you, but being a mother, giving birth to an actual human being, a woman no less, she will become, is a part of it. Like the fact that you're two powerful women giving birth to powerful women, like I could ask for nothing else as a woman in this world. Like to know that that the future lives through the two of you. What a gift. I don't feel like I have to add anything. Frankly, I'm like, you guys got this covered. Thank you for thank you for your contributions and letting your contributions continue to tell you where you're going.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't have to know. You don't have to know. That is actually patriarchal programming.
Yeah. You
So
are
true.
so right. Oh my God. Yes, I needed to hear
God, say
that.
that
Thank you. And you know what? I did want to add that like you both have defined minds, and for all of us undefined mind bitches out here, we love. There's like that fine line of like, am I wanting your insight or your channeled whatever? To like, am I desperate for it? I need you to tell me what to do and be my own authority, or am I wanting like your to like observe your genius and like add it into my open mind of just like it feels like a gift, right? Like, is this a gift or is this like taking my power away? Going back to that conversation, and I think
it's an
like
exchange.
yeah, and I think that this is just a perfect example of like that just felt like such a gift for me, and but without the like the slippery place where I think people get into with like psychics or spiritual mentors or guides or coaches or whatever of like, tell me what to do, tell me what's going to happen, tell me what I need. And this like there's still so much incredible value and insight and purpose in using your gifts like you just did with me. But it's like coming from that root place of like empowerment and versus like I am your answer. So just wanted to reflect that back to you that like it's so valuable, and I really see it in both of you. I mean, you both have this defined mind energy where it's like it does feel like a like light seed that comes into my mind of like, oh, thank you for blessing me with that. But
Well, may I just add? Oh, go ahead, please.
no, please, both of you.
I was just gonna say I'm a responder.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my nature is that I'm a responder. So like that was one of the reasons like I come back to my first time on this show constantly with my team of being like, this is probably the best I've ever been expressed and magnified because I felt so prompted to respond like honestly and authentically. And that's what just happened is like maybe my mind is defined, but which I don't know if that's always a blessing, to be honest with you. Like I think
It's not.
sometimes
It's not.
yeah. I'm not sure that's always the blessing it's cracked up to be. Like we need each other. And like that's why this really works, and we feel it every time we're together is like this isn't just like, okay, let's sit down and like talk about our stuff and I have my pre-planned questions. I'm like, this is a real conversation. This is a real conversation that's just emerging as it wants to, and that's what the world needs. Is it needs more honest people to have real conversations. But nothing that I shared with you would have come forth without a prompt. I'm just a responder. So like when you're like, oh, I needed this from you, it's like you gave it to yourself. You just asked for it in the right place. That's
Yeah.
it. Like you sought it in the right place. You knew that there was something here for you. And that's like the blessing of sisterhood is like both of you are such profound mirrors. Like I love you with the depths of my heart. Like every time we get to connect, I feel it so strongly. This is not just my mushrooms talking. This is my deep, deep truth. Like you are two mirrors that I love to look in. I love the reflection of myself in you. And I hope that when you're with me, you feel that same way, that like the way that you are reflected, you see who you want to see and you see who you know is there. And that's, you know, what I've decided to be in this world is the cleanest mirror that I can be. That's a term I learned from my own mentor, George Poulos, who I love. And believe it or not, I let a man be my coach. But also, I know. Hold on, I gave a man my money. I know. But it was also very healing for me in the paradigm of the patriarchy to be like, I actually trust.
Yeah.
If I had to choose between being in a room with a bear and a man, I can name 20 men that I truly, truly trust to be in a room with besides a bear. So like I'd pick those men over a bear any day. And George is one of those men. And he talked to me about, you know, being a clean mirror. And so I always just ask myself, like, how can I keep this mirror clean? You know, how can I keep the reflection as clear as possible so that everyone who comes to seek something in it sees truly like what they need to take away. And that's the experience that we just had. But like that was really truly all you, Shayna. And like I want you to hold that. It's like it was a gift, but you gave it to yourself. Like it's like when you treat yourself, you bought it, you would go to the store where you know the thing that you want is, you know, like I'm just the store, baby.
Well, you're a really like gorgeous, cute, exciting, like interesting
High
store.
vibrational
Yeah,
store.
high vibe store. Okay, can we talk about politics a little bit? Because
Fuck yeah.
because every time, first of all, I fucking love how vocal you are about the things going on in the world. I love how passionate you are, and I love just your perspective. But it is like you have the Genius Freak channel, and it's, you know, guiding us towards a better future. It's seeing all of the trends and the things connecting and weaving the complex things in life together and helping to point us towards a better future, a better way of doing things. And so I love that you share and that you voice it. But I think that a lot of people, especially in this space, or people that follow us, feel like it's like too hard to lend your voice to that when you're like being in this more spiritual, like, I don't know, like there's like this pull between where I see people really fall into like this just conceptualized place, but then it's not actually here in the 3D of like this shit is actually happening, and like there's literally children in like concentration camps right now, and like the pain that's happening that is needed to catalyze, like we are not going to make change if there's not pain and things being really fucked up to make us make the change happen. But also we're not going to make change if we don't talk about it, and if we don't see it and acknowledge it and call that shit out for what it is. And so there's like these two sides where people are like, no, let's just like focus on the positive and talk about like what it is that we want. And then there's the other side that's like, no, let's call shit out and like burn shit to the ground and like fuck the system. And how do you feel between those two? And like where have you seen that come up in your own journey of like talking about these things and navigating, like choosing to be bold and advocate and take action and all of those things? Like what is this journey for you like?
I have been a hyper political person my entire life. My favorite game when I was a kid, I shit you not, this is a real genuine true thing, was Protester. I would make signs that would be like, don't litter. And I would stick them on actual sticks from outside, and I would stand in my front yard that nobody fucking drove past and hold up the signs and be like, save the planet, don't litter. Like,
oh my God,
down with pollution. Like, I was raised by two very liberal Democrats, which I feel very, very grateful for. I have extreme compassion for those who are in dissonance with their family politically. That is extremely, extremely painful, especially today where our entire lives are political, and that's something that we need to confront. Are you guys familiar with Marianne Williamson?
Yeah, and we saw that you interviewed her on your podcast, which is
Did you see that she told me to run for president?
Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
She told me to run for president. I shit you not. And you know what's crazy is like a couple of days before, I mean, was it prompted? Did I basically say, hey, can you, no, but I was thinking a couple of days before I interviewed her, like, if I were in politics, I would want to be Marianne Williamson. Like she has this amazing book. For anyone that's out there listening right now, please go read Healing the Soul of America and also A Politics of Love. Those are two books that I think are just, you need to read right now. And she ran for president, and she was the most Googled name after the debate that she was a part of. But of course, the Democratic National Convention blocked her from being able to actually be a considered candidate. And it's because, first of all, we weren't ready for a female president. We've proved that to ourselves twice now, which is absolutely fucking devastating. Being a woman in America and watching an actual piece of shit win twice over a highly qualified, highly educated female. If that wasn't enough to know that misogyny is real and alive, that's all we needed to see. That's all we needed to know. Like, that in itself was all we needed to know. And what I really love about Marianne is that she is a spiritual guide trying to help us heal politically, because politics is just consciousness embodied and grounded on the earth. It's the way that we engage with consciousness in a grounded earthly way. It's like, how do we talk to each other? How do we engage with each other? How do we acknowledge and honor and coexist with one another? Like, politics is supposed to be about how we decide to engage with each other, how we decide to engage with each other on like a micro scale and a macro scale. And we're in a time where everything that here's the thing about the Epstein files, right? Like, sorry, take that soundbite. Just use that one. Here's the thing about the Epstein files is like, that shit was happening in the 90s.
Right.
That stuff has already happened.
Right.
And now we're looking at it and going, the horror. No, babe, that's been happening. All that's happening on a global scale right now is that we are actually facing the putrescence that has been sitting underneath the facade of democracy. Yeah. And in reality, it's always been corrupt. It's always been a sinking sinkhole of fucking muddy, disgusting shit. And now and think about it from the very fucking beginning. It was like everything was created through imperialism, colonialism, the imprisonment of others, the enslavement of others, the abuse of others in the history of man, right? In the history of man.
Yeah.
I'm using that word intentionally. Not mankind, babe, man. In the history of man, it's always been about, how do I get someone under my thumb? And we're understanding now that's not working for us. Trying to control and gain authority and gain power over other people is not going to heal us. It's not going to protect us. It's not going to evolve us. We are devolving. We are not evolving. And so this is an invitation, this era and this time is an invitation for each one of us to say, this doesn't feel right to me. And I think the thing that is so difficult and shocking for conscious people is how much it takes. Like, I think back to 2015, and I was like, I hate Trump. I hate this guy. He is the devil incarnate, baby. And people around me were like, I'm not sure. Well, maybe he's not so bad. And now, a full decade later, I'm able to be like, hey guys, I was seeing that sort of from the beginning, and not just because I'm psychic, because it was all kind of right there. You know what I mean? And my tolerance for injustice and ableism and racism and misogyny and corporate greed and capitalism and all those things is very, very small. I don't really have any room for any of those things. But we're finding that our fellow human beings, some of them, have quite a high threshold for that, to the point that the dark has to get really, really, really pitch black for some people to go, do you think it's a little dark in here? Can we turn the lights on? Whereas for some of us, we saw the dark coming from a mile away and we're like, oh, no, like that's scary. Like, don't let that come over here. And so I think the thing that's hard for conscious people is just seeing how dark it has to get. But the truth is, if I'm being so sincere, it was already this dark. It was just hiding under a facade. And that is now gone, and we can no longer deny it, even though some people still are. And that's okay, because we need those people too, because it's all part of the grand equation. We're all playing our part. And the thing that we can do is keep using our voices. The thing that we can do is act on the instincts that we have. Like when we're like, no, it's, I live in Arizona where ICE is extremely, extremely active, right? Like one of my very best friends owns a Mexican restaurant. She's scared every single day for her employees, right? We employ people that are, living in America illegally. Happy to do it. Happy to employ them. No problem here. I would give them 10 times more money, and maybe I will. But we have to be conscious of the fact that, like, our dollars go certain places, our attention goes certain places, our energy goes certain places, our voice goes certain places, our presence goes certain places. And we have to really stand our ground in a way that is not as convenient as it's been previously. We're no longer able to circumvent, we can't keep operating in convenience. We have to live in authenticity. We have to live in truth. And so it's challenging. It's confronting. It's uncomfortable. But it's absolutely 100% necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, preach. And as I'm hearing you talk, it brings a few things up for me, actually, is why it's so important for the population in general to be reconnecting to their intuition and their awareness and their sense of self, like rooted in their true, empowered, soulful self. Because what you're saying of there's so many people that it's not that these are inherently bad people, it's just that they are so disconnected and blind, and it takes the world getting so dark for them to even fully see what's happening. And the people that are very connected to their intuition, they are very aware, they are very grounded in their center. We've been seeing it for longer, but of course, you know, like with the Epstein files, for example, like we did know that that stuff was happening on some level, but honestly, to know that it was happening on this level this whole time, it is really shocking. And even I feel like this is an unveiling for even people who have been very aware, who have been very intuitive, who have been very connected. But it brings back, like, you know, one of the things I think about a lot is just how overwhelming these changes and unveilings are, and how most of capitalism is really prying upon our attention and, you know, the use of media. And I feel like a lot of that is used to overwhelm us, to distract us, to keep us disconnected from ourselves because we're so connected to something that's a distraction. And then a lot of us get fatigue, and we don't, we lose our connection to ourselves. We lose our empowerment. We lose the fire and the passion in the heart because we're just like overwhelmed humans. So, I mean, no matter where people are on the spectrum of completely unaware and disconnected from themselves and thus from the world, or if you're all the way like a very sensitive person who is cultivating your intuition even more deeply, it's like all of us, I feel like the homework assignment right now is actually to stay connected to our truth, to do whatever we need to do to continue to be our own authority and to have that internal meter of is this right or not, and really feeling it for yourself. And so it's like, that's one of the questions I was going to ask is like, what do you recommend to your clients so that we don't get overwhelmed, so we don't get disheartened, so we don't get distracted? But as I was hearing you talk, I was like already hearing that that's the one of the big answers, you know, everything I've been saying. But yeah, I'm curious, is that something that your community, being like more sensitive people and wanting to cultivate that relationship, like, do you see people getting really overwhelmed and disconnected, and how do you support them to continue to keep the fire and to continue to keep their truth?
Well, I want to touch on something you said as well about media, like free media, like what's happening right here, 3 educated, interested, honest women having an honest conversation about what's happening. They can't control us, right? Like if you think about like TikTok, Meta, the news, everything is being, it was already a conglomerate and it's being further absorbed into the conglomerate. Like Oracle owns the news you watch, the TikToks you watch, like everything. So to stay tapped into true media, like no one owns me. No one's ever gonna own me. I could be the biggest, most famous podcast in the world and I'm never gonna join an agency or never gonna whatever, because I don't want anyone to ever tell me what I can or cannot say. Ever, ever, ever. And I think it's really important for people to stay connected to the voices that are speaking the things that speak to them. So like to be conscious of the fact that we are being fed misinformation constantly. We are intentionally being distracted and we are intentionally being bombarded and overwhelmed. So it actually is okay to unplug because we're not being fed truth anymore. It's not really informing you, to be honest. Like there was a time when I would have been like, we can't unplug, babe. We got to stay plugged in. We got to stay connected. Now the shitty people own all the news stations. Like I only trust independent journalists that I follow their Substack. Like I get my news on fucking Substack now because I can only trust individuals. So it's actually okay to unplug from the noise and only plug in when and how you can in the pieces and the time increments that are emotionally and energetically like palatable for you. You can't unplug completely, but this is exactly what I'm saying is like, you know, I pay to subscribe to certain Substacks because I want those people to be able to continue their work and I want my money to be going to places that I think is important. For instance, this is absolutely crazy. I'm literally going to tell you this. I don't think we usually talk about this. We steal all our TV. But let me explain how. We pay this guy in Russia on the black market like $1,000 a year, like $100 a year, something like that, somewhere in that range, to just put everything on, put it all on his server, and we watch through his server. It's a secret service. I'm not going to talk about it. It's on the black market. Be careful. But that's my way of sticking it to the man, because it's all bullshit. Like, I don't want ABC to have my money. I don't want Disney to have my money. I don't want Hulu to have my money. I don't want Netflix to have my money. I want them to suck my ass. Like, I don't want to give them my money. But this guy in Russia that takes his hard-earned time and puts every show in the world on his server, I'm like, you know what, buddy? Good for you. I love you and I support you. I don't know if he's actually in Russia. I think he's in like the Ukraine. But it's like, that's how I'm voting with my dollar. It's like, when you get tired of playing the man's game, stop playing. Figure out how to do it a different way. Yeah. I don't care if Netflix is missing my $17 a month. They can eat me. You know what I mean? Like, truly, I don't mind sticking it to the man. I really don't. And you know what? They're not gonna stop being the man until we start sticking it to them. So like, start having fun, start gamifying, start playing with the system, and remind yourself that it is that deep, but only the things that are real. The things that are real are that deep. That's what matters, and that's what's important. Whether Netflix gets my $17.99 a month, not real. Whether I use my free media platform to talk about the children that are in concentration camps, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. So choosing how much energy you have, being real and honest with yourself. And we're living in a time, like I said, where it doesn't get to be convenient. You're going to be inconvenienced, but you don't have to self-harm. You don't have to self-abandon. You don't have to push yourself so far that you're laying awake at night stressed and overwhelmed. This is going to be fine. We're just in the bad part, but like, this won't last forever. And also, like I said, we've been in the bad part. We just didn't know it. And now we know we're in the bad part.
Which is actually
That's
progress.
really the only difference. Yes,
it's progress.
Exactly.
We're moving forward. It feels worse, but we are a step forward from where we've been, or many, many steps forward in a lot of ways. And same with the patriarchy crumbling, same, like, all of 100%. The shadows being revealed. It feels horrible to have to see them all, but it is a step forward.
Wait, legit Robex? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's why when you held that
what did you order?
Like the acai Energizer one? I'm not sure.
I have the acai lemon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
wow. Same frequency today. I love that.
That really makes me feel closer to you.
I know.
Like we're really sharing a smoothie.
We are.
Guys, I know we're getting close to the end of our time together, but I just like luckily we're going to go continue this conversation elsewhere. I'm going to start asking you guys the same question. So everybody come listen to the Higher Self Hotline, please. Thanks.
Yes.
But I just want to say really quickly that being with you is a gift and a joy. I love you. I love the community that you've created. They've become my community. And to be able to share them with you is such a privilege. To be able to share community with people I genuinely love and respect is something that I think we only ever hope for when we start this work and we put ourselves out there to try and be somebody and do our thing. And to be able to meet with you in these spaces and have these conversations, for me personally, is so nourishing and so rewarding and so fulfilling. The responder in me is so deeply, deeply, deeply grateful to be prompted by such real, authentic, intelligent, activated, honest, open-minded, open-hearted beings. It is such a gift to be here with you. I never take it lightly. I never hold it lightly, but I hold it in such gratitude. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to come back and be here. It is such a gift.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us see you. Thank you for seeing us. And also thanks for coming into our lives. I want to be thanks for being born, because literally every time I see you, I'm like, yes, what you explained in the beginning. I feel that so deeply. So thank you for saying yes once again to coming on to this podcast. I'm I could have you on a million more times. And there's so much more insight and wisdom that I know you're just you're just pouring out of you constantly. So thank you for sharing it in this little brief time that we had here. And for everyone who's new to finding you, where can they connect more with your work? Where can they follow you and learn from you? What are you offering right now? Let us know all the things.
Thank you for asking this question. You can find me on zoeygreco.com, ZoeyGreco.com, like Greco-Roman. And the thing that I'm offering right now, please sign up for my newsletter. I share your numerology horoscopes every month, letting you know what's happening in your world through your own personal numerology. And that's where you're going to be able to find out when the next round of enrollment for You Already Are is opening up. I'll be starting discovery calls for that process in the next couple of months. So make sure that you're subscribed so you can find out how to join. And in the meantime, the thing that I would love to invite you guys to participate in, I have a free quiz. It's totally free. Where you can learn about your primary intuitive sense. My greatest, deepest hope and joy in this world is to hand you back your power. And that starts by understanding what power you have. What is your gift? And as you learn your gift, you can develop and hone it and sharpen it into your most trusted guidance system. So I would love to invite you to go to zoeygreco.com and take the free quiz and find out how to hold and own your power. And you can always find me also over on the Higher Self Hotline podcast, wherever you like to listen.
Which I literally took the quiz this morning, by the way.
What'd you get?
It was so fun. I did it with my coffee. I sat outside in the sunshine. I got clear cognizance.
Not surprised at all. That's the defined mind. It's just automatic knowing.
You just know. And I honestly resonate with glimmers of all of the different ones, but it really made sense and it was so fun to take it. So highly recommend. Excited for all of our community members to go over there. I thought about sending it to Shayna beforehand so she could take it too, but alas, here we are. But Zoey, you are just a goddess. You are such a brilliant light in our lives and you're such a beacon of love and fire. I love your 5-1 heretic energy. I love your Aries passion. I love your generator, just open, enveloping, like glowy, warm, open hug, but also responding to us with such a clear mirror. You really are. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this space with us. And we just love you so much.
I love you guys so much.
Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to follow along and learn more about human design.